where I was staying for an annual medical conference I always dread. I hesitated whether to even bring up his birthday, which is today, because I knew he wouldn't want to acknowledge it if Kevin's scan was bad. "Are you nervous?" I finally asked. He cleared his throat and muttered that he was. When he didn't elaborate, I changed the subject, saying that I'd pick up takeout from his favorite Mexican place and that we could just eat it whenever he got home. He said that sounded fine, his code for that he didn't really care, and then asked how my talk had gone. I made a bad joke about there being a drunken rush for my autograph at the cocktail reception, and he laughed politely. I told him that I loved him. I wished him luck. I said goodnight. 3 hours later, I look out our kitchen window at the sun setting behind the pine trees that line the edge of our property. I know that I am lucky to have such problems, but I can't help feeling like there's something wrong with the fact that it's 7 p.m. and I still haven't spoken to my husband on his birthday. I picture him in one of the hospital conference rooms with Kevin and his parents, whom I've never met, of course, but whom I feel like I know well. I picture the boy's mother with a crumpled tissue in her hand. I picture the boy, his thin frame lost in an oversized Duke sweatshirt. He was a fan long before his health brought him here for care. And I sit down on the wood floor next to Blue, the Newfoundland we adopted 2 years ago. Our pre-baby baby, I joked. I scratch the top of her head and wonder how soon he'll be back, whether I should put the takeout in the oven to warm it up. I decide to set the table at least, placing Owen's present in the middle like a centerpiece. Inside the box is a gift certificate for the two of us to go on a paddling trip later this spring on the Outer Banks, which, despite the fact that we've lived in North Carolina for 10 years, is a place we've never been. I was able to make a reservation with a touring company without specifying a date, which is good, since pinning down a weekend when Owen can take off work is never easy. It will be good for us. Canoeing is our thing. Sort of. Owen even proposed on a canoe 6 years ago, which, now that I think about it, might actually be the last time I held an oar in my hands, but it's part of our history. We met when we were 12 years old at a summer camp in western Massachusetts, and our friendship began on the day that we sat across from each other in an old metal boat on the lake. Though it was almost 25 years ago, I still remember how it felt to be there, my skin seeming to glow from the summertime film of dirt and sweat that I can feel just thinking about it. Owen and I were buddies. That's the very best way I can describe it. We compared bug bites, raced each other during Capture the Flag, and sang the goofy songs that the counselors taught us to pass the time during hikes. Fried ham, cheese, and bologna. He called me Daph, and I let him, even though I had recently decided that because I was almost a teenager, 12 and a half, almost an adult, really, that I would answer only to Daphne. The following summer, we shared a tentative slow dance at the August banquet, and then we kissed. It was quick and sweet, and meant that the one photograph that I had of him, in a dirty t-shirt and the soccer shorts we all wore that summer, was granted a permanent spot in the front of the Velcro wallet that I'd started carrying in my book bag. We wrote letters throughout the fall. My family lived outside of Boston, and he was farther west, near Springfield. He doodled at the bottom of the spiral notebook pages where he signed his name, blocky graffiti letters, Owen plus Daph. Of course, we were in middle school, so by Christmas break, the letters were sporadic on both of our parts. That spring, my father's job got us transferred to Northern Virginia. Owen became a memory. And a good one. 13 years later, I was standing in line at a sandwich place on 9th Street, just before the start of my residency, when I noticed a handsome guy with a mop of wavy dark hair wearing the very same